UFC Fight Night Namajunas versus Cortez just took place, and I'm going to go through every single fight on the card, recapping the fight, seeing what I got right, seeing what I got wrong, starting with the very first fight on this card, which was a short notice fight between Evan Elder and Darius Flowers. I picked Evan Elder to win this fight over Darius Flowers. I think most people did. He was a pretty big favorite, I think a 4-1 favorite, and he just dominated Darius Flowers. Darius Flowers really just had nothing for him, and eventually Evan Elder got the arm triangle submission in the first half of round 2. Really good win from Evan Elder. Darius Flowers isn't really anything special, so I mean, how highly can you really value the win? But good stuff from Evan Elder. He gets it done in the first fight of the night. Next fight on the card was Josh Fremd versus Andre Petroski. I picked Josh Fremd to beat Andre Petroski, and he did not. It's like I said, every time I pick a wrestler to win a fight, they don't land a single takedown and get dominated on the feet. And anytime I pick against them, they get 14 minutes of control time. That's exactly what happened. Josh Fremd trains at altitude. He lives at altitude. Andre Petroski does not. I figured Fremd would take advantage of that, but no. He gets taken down and held down. In all 3 rounds, Andre Petroski really didn't do anything on the ground. I mean, he had an arm triangle attempt at one point, but I mean, other than that, he was just landing some pitter-pat shots here and there, not really doing too much of anything. He was never super close to a finish other than that arm triangle, which was in, but Josh Fremd was able to get out of it. Yeah, pretty boring fight, honestly. Not much happened. Andre Petroski gets it done despite him KOing himself stiff in his last fight. He bounces back and gets a boring decision win over Josh Fremd. Next fight was Lana Santos versus Maria Agapova. This fight went exactly how you thought it would. Lana Santos dominated Maria Agapova. Agapo, I don't know how you say her name. I don't care. She's a can. She sucks. And Lana Santos choked her out in the first round. Had an arm triangle in at first, couldn't finish that, eventually got the back and got the rear naked choke. Just about what you would expect from a 4-1 favorite. She made it look easy. I mean, Maria Agapova, Maria was choked out in her last 2 fights, I believe. So I picked Lana Santos to get it done by round 1 submission, and that is what happened. She submitted her in round 1. I mean, I'm not calling myself Nostradamus or anything. I think that was a pretty easy one to see coming. Yeah, Lana Santos gets it done. Nothing to talk about. Just pure domination. Let's move on to the next fight. Oh, man. I don't even want to talk about this one. This one just hurt to watch. I love Damon Blackshear. I really do. I really love Damon Blackshear. This was painful to watch. I did pick Damon Blackshear to win as well. Might be a little biased because I love watching Damon Blackshear. One of the most exciting grapplers to watch. He should have beat Mario Bautista. Got robbed. Picked him to win this fight because we have seen Montel Jackson taken down and held down by JP Bays. Ronnie Yaya threatened a submission on him. But Damon Blackshear didn't even get a chance to work his wrestling. 18 seconds into the first round, Montel Jackson lands a 1-2 as Damon Blackshear's like throwing a knee or something. I can't remember. It looked like he was going for like a flying knee. I could be wrong. I really can't remember. As soon as he went down, I looked away from the screen. I couldn't watch my beautiful king get KO'd like that. Montel Jackson, he is a very powerful striker. He has a lot of power in his hands. He's always been a very dangerous counter striker. I said that in the prediction video. I said I think Damon Blackshear. I said it's going to be interesting because Damon Blackshear is a guy who likes to be on the front foot and walk down his opponent. And Montel Jackson would accept that, I thought, because he is fine fighting off the back foot and looking for a counter shot. None of that mattered because the fight was over in 18 seconds. The first real exchange they had ended in a KO. Yeah, really good win for Montel Jackson. He needs to be more active. He can't fight once a year. And I know apparently no one will fight him. He's had a few fights canceled in the past. But man, this fight was 18 seconds. He took no damage. If he doesn't fight again this year, then he's just wasting his career. He needs to fight again this year, and if he doesn't, it is an absolute disgrace. You can't tell me no one is willing to fight Montel Jackson. You know, like, someone is willing to fight you. There's no way everyone is avoiding you. If you don't fight again this year, you are just throwing your career away. Point blank. I'd love to see him fight Cody Garbrandt. I don't know if Cody Garbrandt would take a fight like that, but I mean, he took a fight against Trevin Jones and, like, Brian Kelleher. But I don't know if he'd take a fight against Montel Jackson where he is, like, an actual serious danger, you know? Trevin Jones and Brian Kelleher, those are layups. Sure, those are, like, huge step downs, like, no names. And Montel Jackson is a no name to the casual audience. Cody Garbrandt's willing to fight those no names because those are free wins. You know, now he's going to fight a quote-unquote no name that can put his lights out. So I don't know if he would accept that fight. I'd like to see Garbrandt versus Jackson. I think that'd be a really fun fight. Two really good strikers. I think Jackson would win it. But yeah, get Jackson a fight inside the rankings or just outside the rankings. He has got to fight again before this year's up, or he is throwing his career away. Next up was Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein coming in on short notice, making her UFC debut, training with the Aaron Blanchfield team. She's part of that group of people. She couldn't get it done. Jasmine Jasudavicius gets it done by decision. But Fatima Klein, she looked pretty good for a UFC debut. Decent striking, especially in the third round when she started to open up a little bit more. She showcased what she can do. But Jasmine Jasudavicius, she's got all the UFC experience. And that wins her this fight. She had the better grappling and ultimately got this one done through that. She had her moments on the feet as well, definitely. Don't get me wrong. But the grappling is where she shined in this fight. Jasmine Jasudavicius gets it done by a decision. Next fight was the prelim headliner, Joshua Van versus Charles Johnson. This fight sucked. Not in the terms that it was boring, but I had to watch Josh Van get KO'd. Yeah, it sucks. You know, I had to watch Damon Blackshear get KO'd, and then I had to watch Josh Van get KO'd, two of my favorite fighters. So yeah, this card sucked. Very painful to watch. But shout out Charles Johnson. He gets it done. Very tough guy to get rid of. You know, he's got the experience. He's an older guy. Good deep kicks. Good straight shots. He comes out swinging in the third round and lands a hook on Josh Van and follows it up with an uppercut. Sits Josh Van down, and that's pretty much it. He follows up with some ground and pound, but it was over after that uppercut. Charles Johnson gets it done. Sucks to see, man. Josh Van, he's such a young, promising prospect. That's really fun to watch. And Charles Johnson is just 33 years old. Absolutely no future in the sport. I'm coping. Good win, Charles Johnson. I am coping. I am. Josh Van's young. He'll be back. He's only 23. He's got a lot of time to learn. Just really wish he could have got this one done. But, you know, if you're losing to Charles Johnson, you're not quite ready for the rankings. So maybe that's a good thing. He can take some more time, improve a little bit more, and eventually make his way into the rankings when he's a little bit older. So, yeah, good win from Charles Johnson. Hate to see Josh Van KO'd like that. But, you know, got to respect Charles Johnson. Give him his props. Good win from him. Yeah, I'd like to see him get a fight in the rankings, but yeah, let's move on. All right, man, the first fight on the main card is AbdulRazak AlHassan versus Cody Brundage. Oh, my God, I've got some stuff to say about Cody Brundage. This fight ended in a no contest due to illegal strikes to the back of the head. You can say it should have been a DQ, whatever. I don't care. That's not what I'm here to talk about. This fight was a no contest. Cody Brundage is an absolute... Cody Brundage has no talent whatsoever. He is garbage at everything he tries to do. He cannot wrestle. He cannot strike. He has no submission threat. He is just terrible at fighting. He is awful. This is exactly what Cody Brundage did. He milked these back of the He milked these back of the head shots, which, to be fair, they are illegal strikes. AbdulRazak AlHassan did throw illegal shots, absolutely. But if we're going to sit here and act, but are we going to sit here and act like Cody Brundage was not milking this entire thing? He milked this. You know he was sitting there on the ground just praying they call this a DQ. You know he was waiting. Please give me a DQ win. Please give me a DQ win. But ultimately, they call it a no contest. Cody Brundage wanted a way out of this fight because AbdulRazak AlHassan was going to murder him because Cody Brundage has no talent at all. He is terrible. He milked this into a no contest so he can get one more UFC paycheck before they ultimately kick him to the curb because he has no talent. I don't care who they put him against. He will not win his next fight. This guy cannot fight at all. He milked this. He just wants one more UFC fight, one more UFC paycheck, one more loss. He doesn't care. It's gonna be a loss. He does not care. He just wants the UFC paycheck. He's going to get that money, and they're going to kick him to the curb, and he'll probably never fight again because he is awful. I mean, look at this guy's UFC record. He lost to Nick Maximov. He beat 2 cans, and then he's lost to Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, Rodolfo Vieira, he got out-wrestled by Cedricus Dumas. You know, Cody Brundage, the wrestler, gets out-wrestled by Cedricus Dumas. He milked a DQ win against Jacob Malkoun for illegal elbows to the back of the head, just like this fight. He wanted to do the same thing in this fight. Luckily, they called it a no contest. I don't know what I would have done if Cody Brundage won this fight. Oh my God, I would have lost it. He got an absolute fluke slam TKO against Zacharias, one of the biggest flukes of all time. One of the biggest flukes. He got a slam TKO against Zacharias, one of the biggest flukes of all time. I guarantee if they fight 100 times, Zacharias wins that fight 99% of the time. 99 out of 100 times, absolutely. And then he lost to Bo Nickel, and then he has a no contest against AbdulRazak AlHassan. This guy has no impressive wins on his resume. The only guys he's beaten are Jacob Malkoun, which was a DQ fluke, which was a DQ win where he milked back of the head shots. Zacharias, a fluke slam TKO, and then 2 cans. That's it. That's his UFC resume. He's lost every other fight. This guy has no talent. He's absolute garbage. And I can't wait for the day that he gets cut from the UFC. I will celebrate it like it's Christmas. Moving up the card, we got Julian Arosa taking on Christian Rodriguez. And boy, this one was satisfying. I don't even care that I got my pick wrong. I told you, I'm so mad I didn't pick Julian Arosa. I was sitting there in my prediction video contemplating picking Julian Arosa just because Christian Rodriguez is so garbage and his entire career is a fluke. But I trusted in his cardio and his toughness because Julian Arosa has a glass chin. But it turns out I knew Christian Rodriguez didn't have any power in his hands, but my God, this guy has absolutely zero finishing potential. He wins his fights by out-cardioing young prospects. You know, Raul Rosas Jr. gasses out while dominating him. And then Rodriguez beats him when he's gassed. You know, that's the inexperience of these young prospects. He beats Cameron Simon. Fair enough. He missed weight, so not fair enough. Absolute cheat. And then Bulgarian should have beat him. Now he fights someone that's got experience in the sport. He's not going to gas himself out. And he loses because he has no talent. Christian Rodriguez is not good. He's terrible. Absolute bum. So glad he lost. And man, like I said, if you're not KO, Julian Arosa, dude, oh my God. Julian Arosa was taking huge shots right on the chin. And he was not only not falling down like he normally does, but he was like taunting, like waving Rodriguez on, telling him, that's all you got? That's it? like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like I was watching Marvin Vettori in there, dude. The chin was unbelievable. So that just tells you Christian Rodriguez has no power in his hands at all. This guy hits like an absolute bitch. He will never be successful. I don't care what you say. You can call me a casual. Oh, you don't know. This guy's a casual. Christian Rodriguez, he's the future of the sport. I don't care, dude. Christian Rodriguez has no talent. He will never be anything in this sport. All of his wins are flukes or he cheated. So I'm so glad he lost. Thank you, Julian Arosa. This was a very satisfying fight to watch. Let's move on. Next fight on the main card was Gabriel Bonfiglio versus Losa. Gabriel Bonfiglio looked pretty good in this fight. Got it done by decision. I picked him to get it done by decision. I didn't think he'd get Losa out of there because Losa is a sneaky, tough guy. He is a hard guy to get rid of. Really underrated. And Brian Battle was smoking this guy on the feet. So just how good is Brian Battle? But Bonfiglio had good work in this fight. A lot of good work to the body from Bonfiglio. A lot of good knees, especially in the first round. He was tearing up that body of Losa. And he didn't really gas out. He definitely slowed a little bit. But he wasn't like super gassed going into round 3. And at altitude with the pace he was putting on, that's pretty impressive. About what we expected from him. You know, we expected him to beat a guy like Losa. But, yeah, good win from Bonfiglio. Got it done by decision. And he looked pretty sharp in the stand-up. So, good win from Gabriel Bonfiglio. Let's move on to the next one. Feature fight on the card was Drew Dober and Jean Silva. This was an incredible fight. Incredible fight. I picked Jean Silva to get it done by round 2 KO, I think. And it got stopped in the 3rd round because of a nasty cut on Drew Dober's eyebrow. Jean Silva, man, he just dominated this fight. I mean, he dominated it. Made it look easy, honestly. I mean, he was winning every single round. And he just fought the week before, or 2 weeks ago, at UFC 303. And he comes in 2 weeks later and fights up a weight class against Drew Dober. Yeah, like I said, man, this guy's got plot armor. I could just sense his plot armor through the screen. Like when he started walking out, bro, I could like feel the plot armor like coming off of this guy, bro. So yeah, I'm not sure this guy ever loses, to be completely honest. How does this guy have 2 losses? I don't know. I don't know how this guy lost twice. He's got plot armor. He will never lose again. He's gonna become the featherweight champion and retire undefeated. He's got plot armor. He will never lose. But for real, this guy has insane power, insane striking. And, you know, I'm not sure who outside of the top 6 at featherweight is going to beat this guy, completely honestly. And maybe you can say I'm moving him up the ranks too quickly, but no. People told me that Benoit Saint-Denis was going to beat Dustin Poirier when he had 0 ranked wins. So I don't care, dude. No one outside of the top 6 at featherweight is going to beat this guy. No one. Maybe Sterling can take him down. I don't know. But, like, if that fight's on the feet, he gets destroyed. Like, it's got to be someone that takes him down. No one's going to stand with this guy, and you're not going to knock him out. He's got an incredible chin. And the longer you stand with him, the more likely you are to just get knocked out. So it's got to be someone that can take him down. But, man, I'm not going to be picking against Jean Silva for a long time. This guy is special. He has got plot armor. He is the main character. He will not lose for a long time. But yeah, really good performance from Jean Silva. Incredible performance. Respect to Drew Dober for taking this fight. 2 weeks notice. As always, respect to the guys that take these short notice fights. They have no obligation to do that, but they do it anyway to put on a show for the fans. So respect to Drew Dober. Respect to Jean Silva. Really good win from Jean Silva. And let's move on to the co-main event. Co-main event, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikov. I thought Ponzinibbio won rounds 1 and 3. They gave it to Salikov. I'm going to be honest, I don't really give a fuck. If I'm being completely honest, I really don't care. It was going to be hard to follow up Drew Dober versus Jean Silva. No matter what the fight was, it's going to be hard to top that. But these two old heads just went like jab for jab all fight. Muslim Salikov threw a couple spinning wheel kicks with his gut bouncing around. Such an interesting build on that guy, I'll tell you. He's got his gut bouncing around, and he's throwing the most athletic kicks you've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, it was just a fight. The crowd was booing, but it's because they just watched Drew Dober and Jean Silva go at it, you know? So following up that with this, yeah, I'd be booing too. Very underwhelming. I mean, it wasn't like a super boring fight, but it was nothing special. Yeah, I thought Ponzinibbio won. I don't really care if you give Salikov round one. I really just don't care. But yeah, good win from Salikov. He's 40. Go start a family, man. I don't know if maybe you have a family. If you do, go spend time with them. Your time is up. Not sure why you're fighting. You're 40 years old. Yeah, whatever. Let's move on to the main event. And the main event everyone was looking forward to the entire night. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Wow, what a fight this was. Absolute barn burner. Back and forth. Rose definitely didn't dominate the entire fight. Yeah, it was close. I had no idea who was going to win when that was going to the scorecards. I thought maybe they might. I scored it for Tracy Cortez, personally. I thought she outstruck Rose. She didn't get knocked down. She slipped, clearly. But in all seriousness, I don't know what Tracy Cortez's game plan was. I understand she took this on short notice. But, like, she attempted, like, 5 takedowns in the entire fight. She spent more time feinting takedowns than actually blasting a double leg and actually trying to get the fight to the ground. And she just stood there and tried to stand up with Rose Namajunas. Man, women's MMA is in the mud. Absolutely no fight IQ from Tracy Cortez. Really pathetic. Don't know what she's doing. But yeah, Tracy Cortez is certainly down on all the scorecards. Her corner's telling her she needs a finish. And with 15 seconds left in round 5, she gets in the clinch. You know, instead of throwing bombs, going for a knockout, she just clinches up with Rose and gives up. So I don't know what she's doing. No fight IQ. If you picked Rose Namajunas to lose to Tracy Cortez, I'm sorry, but you are just dumb. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You're dumb. It was never going to happen, right? I mean, unless Rose just does not show up and does not try like we've seen her do in the Esparza rematch where she just accepts losing and does not attempt to win the fight, then she was never going to lose to Tracy Cortez. As long as she showed up and tried, there was no aspect in the game where Tracy Cortez is better. The only path to victory Tracy Cortez had was through control time. She has not finished a fight since 2018. That is 6 years with no finishes. So her only route was a fluke knockout or holding Rose Namajunas on the ground for 5 rounds, which was never gonna fucking happen. So if you actually picked Cortez, maybe go try baseball or something, because this is not the sport for you. But a good win from Rose Namajunas. She got it done. I really don't care what's next for her, honestly. I'm going to be honest. I just don't care. I don't care what she does. I have no interest in watching women's MMA, if I'm being completely honest. It's just time and time again, just no fight IQ demonstrated. It's just unbelievable. So, yeah, I don't really care what happens next for Rose. Good win, though. But, yeah, that was it for UFC Fight Night Denver. Namajunas versus Cortez. It was a pretty good card, honestly, for what it is. You know, we had the Montel Jackson KO was nice. Josh Van Charles Johnson was a good fight. Obviously, Jean Silva, Drew Dober. Those were the only 3 fights I really cared about and I knew would be fun. And they were very fun. So, yeah, I mean, it's good for what it is. Next week's card is absolute garbage. But, yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And I will see you next week for the UFC Fight Night card headlined by Verna Jandaroba and Amanda Lemos. I cannot wait. I'll see you next time.